Falcon fan, this is Rotundo coming back at you with another video. So today we're going to talk about tight end Jonnu Smith and how he could actually be a good key to help unlocking the Atlanta Falcons passing game in 2023. Also, we'll talk about a couple additions to the Atlanta Falcons invite list. Also talk about cornerback Breon Borders, who has been suspended for 2 games, and what that could mean for him going into this offseason. See, could he make the Atlanta Falcons 53-man roster? So, guys, with that being said, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys like hear what I talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come here and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So, guys, like I said earlier, we're going to talk about 2 invites to the Atlanta Falcons camp this coming up off season. Chris Blair, wide receiver, former with the Green Bay Packers practice squad, actually played with the XFL last year, had 25 catches, 584 yards, actually averaged 23.3 yards per catch. So a big play guy, come in, big size, 6'2", can run fast, will have opportunity to make this 53-man roster in the passing games. We know where we stand with our receiver core, so bringing in a guy like Chris Blair could definitely give him a chance to opportunity to compete for this position. We know those last couple wide receiver positions is open, so coming in, show what you can do. You love the way Atlanta Falcons, Terry Fontenot, and his front office keep going out and bringing guys in to have the opportunity to compete to make this roster. And I don't see them stopping that anytime soon. Also, bringing in another XFL guy, Sal Cannella, tight end. He actually also played in the XFL last year. Another guy had a pretty good season. Both of these guys was actually big stars in the XFL coming in. You kind of like the way the XFL is kind of like a minor league for the NFL now, bringing in guys that had potential in the NFL, like Cannella and Blair. Both actually played with the Green Bay Packers on their practice squad, but could not cut it the first time in the NFL. Went over, get some more experience, show what they can actually do on film with the XFL, come back out. Now, we know the XFL is potentially heard that they lost a lot of money this year. Those are growing pains trying to bring in a new professional league, trying to compete with NFL. But I don't think this league is actually trying to compete with NFL. I think if they look at it and they can partner with NFL, make it look more like the G League or like the NBA, I think it's a good tool for some of these young players who might not quite be ready to come in NFL to go into something like XFL. We got the Canadian Football League as well, and the other professional league that's out there can go in and show their chops. And like I said, it could be that kind of minor league for this NFL. So you like to see that, and you hoping that in the future that we can definitely see more guys coming into the XFL. I think if you're looking at the numbers, quite a bit of guys got opportunity to show what they can do coming out of XFL this year. So heads up to the XFL, even though they're struggling with their numbers and things like that. Hopefully they start to grow a little bit more, and because I think it's a good gateway for a lot of guys trying to come into the NFL, like Chris Blair and like Sal Cannella. These guys coming in, whatever long shot, whatever you might want to say about it, they got an opportunity to compete in the training camp for the Atlanta Falcons. I think that's 6 guys now Atlanta Falcons are bringing in from the XFL. So we're going to see what these guys are all about. Excited about that competition in the receiver room. For Sal Cannella, it's going to be uphill battle for him as well, that tight end room. But we'll see what they can actually do. Maybe they both might make the Atlanta Falcons practice squad like they did the Green Bay Packers a couple years ago. Now we talk about Breon Borders, the cornerback that Atlanta Falcons just brought in. We already know how deep that cornerback room is. Bringing in a guy like Breon Borders who have that experience come in to compete, to see can he actually make the 53-man roster. Well, has been hit with a snag actually been suspended for 2 games. According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, it was for substance enhancing, PED, something like that. So if that's the case, I see it's an uphill battle for Breon Borders to make the 53-man roster, being able to miss 2 games, even though it's a 15-game season. So unless he comes in and really stands out to actually take over one of these guys, because that cornerback room is so deep, it's going to be interesting to see if Breon Border have an opportunity to make this team. And with that being said, is he going to actually even make the 53-man roster? Going into training camp, that 90-man roster. So, guys, let me know what you think about those 2 quick updates. I haven't talked to you guys in a couple days, so I want to get those out to XFL invitees and talk about cornerback Breon Borders. All right, so let's get to the guy that I really want to talk about today, and Jonnu Smith. Tight end Jonnu Smith. So we know Jonnu Smith was like one of the first moves that Atlanta Falcons actually made this offseason, coming in, making a trade for Jonnu Smith from the New England Patriots for a 7th-round pick, bringing him back in the fold with his former offensive coordinator, our head coach now, Arthur Smith, right? So that relationship between those guys is really good. You remember Arthur Smith before he was the actual offensive coordinator, he was the tight end coach. So him and Jonnu Smith actually have a great relationship, and you can tell that by the way Jonnu Smith was used in 2019 and 2020 when Arthur Smith was actually offensive coordinator. In 19, Jonnu Smith had 35 receptions, 439 yards, 12.5 yards average with 3 touchdowns. And then they actually made him look even better in 2020. 41 receptions, 448 yards. Pass per average went down 10.9 yards, but he was really good in red zone, 8 touchdowns. And this is actually what helped Jonnu Smith get that big contract that he signed with the New England Patriots. However, we know how that panned out for the Patriots. Just did not fit. And that's sometimes what happens in NFL. Guy come in, and does not fit, do the things that you want to do. But if you look at what Jonnu Smith have did over his career in the NFL, 169 catches, 17 touchdowns. So his production in the red zone is really, really good. And in my opinion, I think it's really going to help open up the passing game and kind of calm down some of the concerns that we have at the inexperience at our wide receiver position because of a guy like Jonnu Smith. Now, if you're going to look at some of the things that Jonnu Smith does well, one of the things, if you've seen with the Tennessee Titans and the New England Patriots, the screen game, he was really, really good in the screen game because his ability to catch that ball after the screen and be able to get downfield, break tackles, and get big yardage after that, it's really good. So his ability to catch the ball, run after catch, it's really going to be something that's going to be exciting to see for Jonnu Smith, right? One big thing, we know Jonnu Smith is probably in this offense, probably the fourth target for a guy like Desmond Ridder. So he's definitely going to take a lot of pressure off guys like Kyle Pitts and Drake London. We know those guys going to be 1A, 1B type targets in the passing game. But a guy like Jonnu Smith is going to help limit some of the double teams and things like that because his ability to actually do a lot with the ball, right? So if you look at some of the things Arthur Smith did with Jonnu Smith, he was able to utilize him in the run game, also in the pass game. A lot of good play calling took place where Jonnu Smith was involved. Like I said, he's going to be probably not the first option, second, third, maybe even the fourth option, but he's going to be a factor in this offense. And I believe that he could be just a sneaky guy in the red zone because our eyes are going to be on Drake London. Our eyes are going to be on Kyle Pitts. And you can see a guy like Jonnu Smith sneak out and get some of the plays he got when he was with Tennessee. The last thing I want to say about Jonnu Smith is we talked about the personnel packages that Arthur Smith actually can utilize with this roster that he have on the offensive side of the ball. And I like the 12 personnel, bringing in the 2 tight ends, Kyle Pitts and the Jonnu Smith. the different things that you can do with that formation, because all these guys could definitely be dangerous in the pass game. And then you definitely still can run the ball, because that's considered a heavy package. You put guys in a 12 personnel, so you'll be able to run the ball that way too. We know that's what Arthur Smith wants to do, but I mean, we've seen Jonnu Smith come on reverses. We've seen him come on jet sweeps. We've seen him come directly out of the backfield. But his ability to catch the ball and run after catch is definitely going to be something huge for this Atlanta Falcon team, and could be that sneaky under signing that the Falcons really never really thought about, a good signing at the end of the year. So only gave up a 7th-round pick for him, was able to fix that salary cap number for him for this year and next year. So I love this addition of Jonnu Smith. Like I said, it's an under the radar signing, because we have not talked about him at all. For the most part, we talked about Drake London, how explosive he's going to be in his second year. The coming out party for Kyle Pitts, I think he's going to be able to show why he was picked number 4 overall this year. Hopefully, Desmond Ridder can get him the ball. Of course, the addition of the phenom running back, Bijan Robinson, along with the pounder ground guy we already had at Tyler Algier. So the offense have weapons on it. One of the big concerns was the passing attack, because of the lack of experience in that receiver room. But I think a guy like Jonnu Smith is definitely going to help with that, because the things he can do in the passing game. So seam routes, quick, right out the back, read and react from the tight end, quarterback. So just go back and look at some of the plays Jonnu Smith made under Arthur Smith offense in Tennessee. It's not the same offense. It's definitely a little different, but the way he was utilized in the offense, sort of the ways some of these other guys are going to be utilized, like a Kyle Pitts, like a Bijan Robinson. But just adding that extra factor of what Jonnu Smith can bring to the table is definitely going to just open up more different possibilities for this Atlanta Falcon offense. So guys, I'm interested to see what you guys think about Jonnu Smith. Somebody, like I said, we haven't talked about. We talked about everybody else, but Jonnu Smith is a guy that we definitely need to be on the lookout for this offseason, and see what impact he can have with this team, adding to all those weapons in Atlanta. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.